Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, my collective. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Um, I just want to come out here today because I'm feeling the energy I'm feeling right now is, there may be one or two or three or a few of you that just kind of need some words this morning. So what I want to talk about is three ways to heal after the heartbreak. Okay. And I know some of you say, "Well, I come on here for tarot readings." I'm gonna tell you right now. This is not a tarot reading. This isn't about the drama. This is not about what did he do, what did she do, who's the third party. This is about you healing. My channel is not always going to be about the tarot, what's going on, what's behind the scenes. It's a healing journey. So if you're not here for a healing journey, then this may not be the channel for you, okay? Because we are gonna times where we just talk about just healing, okay? So what I want to talk about now is, like I said, the recognizing the small victories, the big victories, and then of course that wake up call, okay? And I can tell you this. I can tell you this because I know what it feels like to wake up and feel that heaviness in your chest. Um, when everything just reminds you of what you lost. Because I've been there. All right. And that's when you learn, and it's those times that you learn. Not all at once because it don't all come at once. But it's the moments where you learn little by little, day by day, about the victories and how to recognize the small victories. And that's when you start to actually realize that, hey, I'm healing, you know. But I just want to talk about, I want to talk about the victories. When the small victories, the days when you get out of bed, and some of those small victories for you are going to be those days that you get out of bed. Okay, because for people who haven't been, that don't want to acknowledge them going through the healing after the hurt, it's a lot. And the people who are not going through it when you're going through it, sometimes it's a lot to just get out of bed, to do those simple things. Getting out of bed, taking a shower, putting on a little lip gloss, actually doing the laundry, doing the cooking, getting up to go to work, cleaning that house, just even wanting to get dressed and put on something that doesn't fit big, doesn't fit loose, but makes you feel sexy, makes you feel good, like you look good, like you look damn good, instead of just, I just threw this on, and you having that big shirt, those big sweats, and the days seem long, because you're going through it. You're healing. You don't feel like company. You don't feel like answering the phone. It doesn't even really feel much like watching TV. You're just in your feelings. So I want to talk about the small victories because those are your everyday wins. Like I said, the days that you just get out of bed. The days that you realize, I made it through today. I didn't check that person's page. Okay? I didn't check their page, their social media. I didn't go through my phone. I didn't reread text messages. I didn't go look at photos of us and get sad again, be in that moment. Maybe you actually smiled and you didn't have to force that smile. You just had a pleasant thought or somebody said something, and for that second, it brought a smile to your face. Those are your small victories. Those are the moments I want you to remember. The moments that I want you to pay attention to. The little things. Because those little moments are the proof that your heart is still beating. You're still healing. Even when it doesn't feel like it. And then I want to talk about the big victories. Because for some reason, those are the ones that everyone seems to remember. That's that shift in your spirit. When your spirit finally begins to shift, things start to happen. The things that you really, the dog is barking, that's confirmation. Um, that's that when things start to transition in your healing, and your healing starts to grow a little bigger over time, you know? And this doesn't come right away, collective. This does not come right away. This comes after you hit that hermit stage. You went into seclusion. When you stop being upset with yourself, blaming yourself, wondering why? Well, why did this happen? Why did he do that? Well, how did I miss, that, that moment where you're still wanting that closure and you're wondering, is he or she gonna call? Is he or she thinking about me? Is he or she miss me? Or did they love me? Because those were the moments I led. That's when you're in your small victory. But the big victory, when you're in that big victory, well, that's that day when you realize you didn't think about it, For me, the biggest victory was realizing that I didn't need closure from anyone. My closure came from myself, from spirit, the universe. It's when I realized that I didn't give it to myself. I don't need anybody to tell me why they did what they did, because it doesn't neglect the fact that, well, they did what they did, right? They did it. So even if they say I did it because of this, they still did it. They had a choice. So I don't need them to apologize, and you don't need them. You don't need them to say you're sorry. You don't need them to come in, because you want to take back your own power, okay? Give it to yourself. You don't need them to hold on to you. So those are your big victories. Those are the things that, a lot of times you see those moments. And then the third point I want to make to you is the wake-up call. That's the biggest point. Because at some point you have to decide, I'm not waiting for them to come back. I'm not waiting for them to make it right. I don't even want them to come back. Maybe sometimes you think about them. And that's natural, because you had that experience with them. But during that wake-up call, that's when you realize, I'm choosing me now. I'm taking back my power. I'm working on my healing. I am healing. Okay? That's when you stop replaying the story over and over and over in your head of all the events that took place, remembering the lies, remembering the manipulation, when they did this, when they said this, when they said that, how it didn't add up. How you caught them, and maybe you called them out on it, maybe you didn't. I don't know, collective, your story. But it's just a moment when you just stop replaying everything and you decide, I'm going to rewrite my own story. I'm going to come back stronger. I'm going to come back better. That's when you're going to alchemize, take back your power, and not allow yourself to be a victim. Not a victim for them, not a victim for society, not for the family, not for the friends, not even a victim for yourself. Don't even put yourself in that self-victimization mode. But that's when you say, you know what, I'm going to own my power. I'm going to take back my power. Yes, I've been through some things, but I'm not going to allow it to keep me down, because I have faith. I have the universe. I have everything. I'm counting on me. People are counting on me. My kids are counting on me. If you have kids, my family, my siblings, people are counting on me. I need to show up for myself. I can show up for everybody else. Why not show up for yourself? If someone says, hey, I need a ride, or someone's feeling down, how quick are you to go be that shoulder for them to lean on? So why not be that shoulder for yourself to lean on? Show up for yourself. So when you have that wake up call, that's when you begin to rewrite your own narrative, rewrite your own story. That's when you don't care. You reach a point where you don't care what people think. You don't care what narrative people spin, because I guarantee you more times than not, the person who you're no longer communicating with, that you're finally putting closure to because you get it closer to yourself, the person that you don't care if you hear from them or don't hear from them, I'm sure they've made themselves a victim. I'm sure they spin another narrative, because I'm sure you did something wrong. You said something wrong, or you didn't show up in a way, because they're not ready to take accountability. They're not going to take accountability. They're not going to talk about what they did, what they said, where they were wrong. And the truth is, you don't need them to. You don't need them to, because you know your story. You know what happened. You're taking back your own power, remember? So you don't need them to. This is when you remember that the pain didn't break you. It woke you up to who you really are. This is when you do your self-discovery, right? When you realize it was always in me. I just needed someone to push me, to trigger me, to get me there. That's when you made changes, not because someone said you don't need him or you don't need her or you deserve better. It's because you realize you deserve better. It's when you start placing boundaries, and not only placing those boundaries for yourself, for your ex, for others, whoever. You didn't just place those boundaries, but you're standing behind them. You're meaning what you say. You're redefining who you are, what you need in life, who deserves to be a part of your life, who doesn't, what love really looks like, because you're embodying your self-love. You've gotten your confidence back. You found your voice. You're not speaking up, and you don't care if they don't like it. And they're not going to like it. Let's be clear. They're not. Because when you start taking back your power, that's when they start losing power. And who likes losing their power, collective? No one. No one wants to lose power, especially if someone's been controlling you, manipulating you, pulling the strings as though you were their puppet the whole time. And now you're saying, no more. And they see, I cannot manipulate you. I cannot fool you. I can't pin you and tell you that it's raining anymore. You're looking at who they are, not who they have potential to be. And you're deciding to accept them for who they are really showing you they are. Stop waiting for them to be who you want them to be, or who you know they have potential to be, because the truth is, you say they had a potential to be that. They never told you they did. They never said they wanted to be that person that you believe that they could be. So you're holding on to the fantasy that they are going to become someone that they never even said they wanted to change to become. They never told you they weren't happy being who they are. So you take back your power. You redefine yourself. Okay? So I want you to do something, because I feel like somebody just really needs to hear this, and maybe it'll help one. And if I help one of you, I'm grateful. Okay? But tonight, because I want you to remember the small victories. Don't overlook the small victories. Even if at the end of each day, if you start your morning off and say, for the small victory, when you're in that small victory moment where it's kind of hard because the heartbreak is still fresh, you start that morning off and you say, today I'm going to do this. and you pick something you're going to do. Maybe I'm going to call a friend. Maybe I'm going to take a walk. Maybe I'm going to soak in a tub. Maybe I'm going to light some candles. Maybe I'm going to listen to some soft music. Maybe I'm going to do my nails. Maybe I'm going to soak my feet. Whatever. You pick a small victory for yourself that you know you can accomplish, okay? And set out to accomplish that small victory for yourself. Because the big victories are coming. And then that wake-up call where you don't care anymore, where you start redefining yourself, that's coming too, okay? Not an end of the week, but it's coming. So before you go to bed tonight, do something for me. I want you to celebrate the small wins. I want you to honor the big ones. And don't ignore the wake-up call. And know that you're not behind time. You're not broken. You're just becoming who you are. And everybody doesn't travel at the same speed, okay? So don't look at, well, so-and-so is around my age, or so-and-so has been in a long-term relationship and they're happy and they have kids and they have blase, swaze, everything. And why am I only here? You're where you're supposed to be. You don't even know what's going on in the walls of so-and-so. They're only telling you what they want you to know. And sometimes they beautify that because they're not ready to accept what they're going through. You are where you are designed to be. You're where you are supposed to be at the time you're supposed to be there. So before you go to bed tonight, think about what small victories. What did I accomplish today? What's the big victory? What did I accomplish this week? Look at where you are now and go back 72 hours. How did I feel 72 hours ago? Where was I 72 hours ago? What was bothering me 72 hours ago? Because now, for the big victory, you're further. You're not there. That's a victory. And then for those of you who are a little further in your journey, where were you a month ago? Where were you 2 months ago? Where were you 6 months ago? And where are you now? You're in your wake-up call. You don't feel that hurt, that pain behind that hurt anymore. You're breathing a little lighter. You're smiling a little more. You're moving about a little bit more. Maybe you're exercising. Maybe you're actually cooking, going to the grocery store, picking out a meal to prepare a meal instead of, I'm just going to grab something to eat. I'm just going to make a sandwich, or maybe even I'm not hungry. I'm just not even going to eat. For those of you who get in that moment and you just don't eat, and then for those who overeat, maybe feel like, I'm not really so hungry. I've lost weight or I gained weight, Think about that. Do a daily check-in with yourself. Check in with yourself at the end of each day. What did I do today? How am I feeling today? Journal. Put it on your calendar on your phone. Everyone has like a little memo on the phone. Mark it. Journal it. And pay attention specifically. Your spirits are always around you. They're helping you. The angels are helping you. Pay attention to those angel numbers. As a matter of fact, even though I said I'm going to play the cards for you, I do want to just pull a few angel numbers for you. Only because I said that. No, I can't find my deck. I will, because I want to wrap it up. Continue to just be at peace and keep setting and keep going, okay? And I'm going to tell you now, because I'm right here with you guys. As you grow, as you heal, the further you go on your journey, and people see that change in you, some people are going to talk about you. Well, I remember when you dated so-and-so, or when this happened, when you used to do this and used to do that, things you don't really feel like doing no more, or those people you're attracted to that maybe you're not attracted to that type of person anymore, that good girl, bad boy, whatever the situation was, if you had a special type, before you really put that self-love and realize what love really means to you, what you really want from love, and what you want to set before you set any boundaries. So people are going to talk about, oh, I remember when you talked to this person, that person. I remember when you did this, did that. You know, don't frown upon that. Don't frown upon it. I did that. I talked to this person. Yes. Because you know what? They want to bring this to you because you're healing. You're growing. They're not. Accept this as validation of how far you've grown. That you're growing. And, you know, and not only that, you see your growth. They see it too. You're doing something positive with your life. You had the strength, you had the courage to do what so many people can't do. And you're doing it with grace, and you're doing it with style. Okay? Let me go ahead and give you 3 angel to look for. And these are synchronicities that you might see. You know, also like pay attention to feathers, birds, different insects if they keep coming across you as well. Pay attention to that. But let me give you some time synchronicities that you might be seeing as the angels, the universe, are letting you know that they're supporting you on your healing. Spirit guides, give me something for my collector. If you're seeing 999, it's completion. Release what no longer serves you and prepare to embark on a new chapter filled with opportunities. That's that letting go. Letting go. And as you're letting go, afterwards, you're going to see those small victories I was talking about. Then the big victories. And then that wake-up call. Give me something else from that collective spirit guide. Self-love. 676. I just spoke about that. Prioritize your well-being and cultivate a deep sense of love and compassion for yourself. And then the last one, collective. 919. New beginnings. That wake-up call, right? You're ready to start a new chapter of your life. Be open to meeting new people. I love it when they come through. What we talked about. Completing, releasing the people that don't belong in your life. Give yourself that self-love. And be ready for that new beginning. Remember, when you redefine yourself. Thank you. Thank you for joining my channel. Got a Leap of Faith. If you like my message, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. You know, tell me how far you've come, what what you've accomplished. You know, what are your daily goals? Seeing your worth. You know, it's when we all come together and we share that love, we share our stories with one another. That's how we help each other to grow. Because trust me, wherever you are, someone's been there. Hell, I've probably been where you are. You know, everyone's story is a little different, but we all experienced heartbreak. We've all experienced, you know, people letting us down, disappointment. You know, we've all experienced that, okay? We felt it, we experienced it. We're all going through it. So why not help each other through it? Okay? Always sending you love and blessings, and have a great day.